got a challenge for you. A simple little test. A battery, a bulb. Put your mind to the test.
Welcome to Fantastic Physics. Here is your challenge for today. I want to know, can you light up a light bulb using only these three items? So one piece of wire with exposed copper ends, one light bulb, and one C battery, which is a 1.5 volt battery. They're cylindrical shapes. You might see them in common household appliances. So using just this battery, one light bulb, and one strip of wire, can you get this bulb to light up? And here's an extra rule. You cannot cut this wire or modify it. The only thing you can do with the wire is bend it, and you cannot use any extra outside materials. So in a moment, I'm gonna show you a close-up of what these three items look like. And then I want you to pause the video and draw a sketch. So grab a sheet of paper and draw how would you connect these three items to get this light bulb to light up. Is it possible with just one wire? Now, this is a common solution that I always see students try. So they take the C battery and they take their strip of wire and they touch one end of the wire to the positive terminal of the battery, and they touch the other end to the bottom of the light bulb, and they hold it up like this. And so will this light bulb turn on in this configuration? If you drew this at home, do you agree with this? Well, the truth is it's not going to work. So why will this not work? Take a moment to think, what is wrong with this situation? What would need to change in order for this light bulb to actually work? Well, many of you at home probably can tell that an electrical circuit needs to basically be a complete path all the way back to the battery again, which means there should be some kind of wire that's returning to the other terminal of the battery. And this is what makes this challenge so difficult, because if you had two pieces of wire, then I think it would be very easy to light this bulb, but we only have one piece. So doing it like this would definitely not work. This is another solution that I see a lot of people attempt. So they take the bulb and they lay it sideways so that the glass part is touching the positive terminal of the battery. And then they have one end of the wire touching the negative battery terminal and the other end of the wire touching the bottom of the light bulb. And so now they do have what looks like a complete circuit. So the electricity appears to be able to come back to the other side, which could work in theory. But will this exact setup work? So if you did this with these three materials, would you get this light bulb to light up? So take a minute to think about that. Will this actually work? Well, it turns out that this will also not work as well. So what's the problem with this setup? Well, what's this light bulb made out of? It's made out of glass, at least the side is, right? So electricity needs to travel through a good conductor, which is why this wire is made out of copper, which is a metal. So electricity can flow through that, but this glass here is an insulator. So electricity will not be able to flow through the glass to get to the other side of the battery. So we need to make sure that we have metal touching both sides. So this is also not going to work. So after working on this for a while, I see virtually every student try this solution here. So what they did is they took the wire, and we have one end of the wire touching the negative battery terminal. The other end is touching the positive battery terminal. And then they just take the light bulb and they set it on top so that the bottom of this bulb is touching that other piece of the wire. So now it looks like electricity can definitely flow through. So is this light bulb gonna light up? What do you think? Well, I think we have to test it. Let's find out if this actually works. So I'm gonna take one end of the copper wire and I'm just gonna place it at the bottom of this battery, and that's gonna hold it down. I'll take the other end of the wire and touch the positive terminal on the top here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and take this light bulb and place it right on top of that wire. And if you can see, it's not lighting up. So that's not going to work. So why did this strategy not work? It seems like it should work because we have metal touching metal. So it looks like electricity should flow through the circuit, and it does. But the problem is electricity is going to flow through this wire and it's going to go right back to the battery. So you've created a circuit that doesn't even enter the light bulb at all. And if there's no electricity flowing into the light bulb, it's not going to turn on. So this is an example of what we call a short circuit. It's basically a path with current on it that has no resistance or no device on it. There's no electrical resistance, which means that the current is going to be flowing really, really, really fast. And so if you touch this wire, if you held it there for a while, your fingers would actually get really warm. There's too much current flowing. A short circuit can be dangerous. And if there was more current here, if we use like a wall outlet, it could cause an electrical fire. So we need to figure out a way to force current to flow through this light bulb so it actually turns on. Well, what can we change about this setup? It's really just a small change. So you can still put your light bulb here and have the bottom of the bulb touch right there. And so I'm gonna redraw the bulb. There's my light bulb. The difference is we do want to touch this side with the wire, but we want to make sure the other end of the wire actually touches not the bottom or the battery, but actually it's touching the side of the light bulb. Because in this setup, now electricity can flow through this wire, go into the light bulb, which causes it to light up, and then flow back into the battery. And so this is no longer a short circuit. We've added some resistance on this path, which is the light bulb itself. And now the current will be a little bit slower. You're not gonna have as much electrical fire risk. So this is the solution and I can prove it. Let me show you exactly how this works. Okay, so this time I'm going to take the wire, put it underneath the battery again, but I'm gonna be careful to take the bottom of the light bulb and touch directly to the positive terminal of the battery. And I'm going to take that wire and make sure I touch the side of the light bulb. And look at that, it does light up when I do this. So if I touch the side, it works, but if I touch the bottom like it did last time, it doesn't. So what have we learned today? A seemingly simple question like, hey, can you light up a light bulb using a piece of wire, a light bulb, and a battery? Most people would assume that they can do it. So there's this arrogance, there's this natural belief in ourselves that, yeah, we can definitely light up a light bulb. And I bet 9 out of 10 people at home who actually tried this, who drew the sketch, did not draw this sketch exactly right. Most people probably drew this. And when I'm teaching this to my students in a classroom setting, only about maybe 2 out of 30 students will actually get this question correct. And then eventually they'll start sharing the secrets with each other. So don't always assume that everything is easy just because the premise sounds easy. There's a lot going on underneath, and we have to really dig deep to figure out how physics actually works.